Finally, this is how to use Rillaboom in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and once again, shoutouts to G Fuel. The energy formula is the only thing keeping me going right now with the crazy amount of videos I've been making for launch of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Took off my jersey because on the back has hashtag Fuel the Grind. Oh yeah, that is definitely what is going on right now. So if you want the hype energy formula, use code Verlisify for 30% off your GeoFuel order until November 19th, 10% otherwise. And now we have the green screen Sour Apple energy crystals. I actually already opened this one. So Grookey Gang, let's hit it. This one's a lot more mild, but still pretty good. It's like caffeine candy. But really quick, I wanted to fill in a gap that I made with my Cinderace moveset video. It was the one I did right before this one about Rillaboom. And you should be watching all of my moveset guides anyways, right? Find in the description down below how to use for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So is my general Pokemon Sword and Shield guide content. It's all starter moveset videos, so I think I can kind of justify fitting it in here. Either way, drop a quick like on this video. But the thing I overlooked about Cinderace was just running strong Cinderace, because we've never seen a Pokemon that is broken in quite this way. So my idea of Life Orb and 4 standard moves is a lot more underpowered than Cinderace's idea of Life Orb and 4 standard moves. We haven't seen 119 speed, 116 attack, and then a 130 base power non-stab move on top of a non-recoiling 120 base power stab move. It's some pretty crazy stuff, and then this just becomes absolutely ungodly broken when it comes to Libero. I was trying to think about too many like weird combos with reversal, and I disrespected the high jump kick. Not something to do. I was more trying to play around low health and then getting shenanigans off that, or you just bring in Cinderace strong and you sweep straight up like that. Consider it. Especially as like a late game Pokemon, save Cinderace as one of your last Pokemon. If all of your opponents are below like 70 health, I think that's a free win. Okay, Rillaboom, what do you do? I guess the first place to look is going to be its pure grass typing. Now, grass is infamously known for being an typing because of all of those weaknesses: flying, poison, bug, fire, and ice, and then it's going to be resistant to ground, water, grass, electric. I mean, the resistances are good. Being able to just like switch in and not care about earthquake, that's nice. Water, grass, electric, you're going to run into those moves, so you can just kind of use it to soak those up. And also, with grass comes the immunity to Leech Seed, as well as Spore and Powder-based moves, so that's also a really good switch to just kind of have on your team. Just generally good to have a grass-type Pokemon. However, the sweep response can be very powerful and very overwhelming. Next up, let's take a look at its stats, or should I say, Power Creep Incineroar. So we have 95 on the hit points, 90 on the defense, compared to 100 on the hit points and 90 on defense. So slightly more physically tanky, while also having 10 more on the attack, but then less on the special defense. However, 85 speed is a very compelling speed, because now we're going to start dealing with like speed tier stuff. If we get +1 on us or -1 on the opponent, and with our signature move Drum Beating, we're going to be seeing some -1s on the opponent. 100% chance to lower the target's speed by 1, and then the hidden ability Grassy Surge. That's fancy to just slap onto a starter Pokemon like that, and it makes Rillaboom really feel like it's going to be supportive potential in doubles, or just have a good way of getting started up. Because the effects of grassy terrain are pretty nice. Boost the power of grass-type moves used by affected Pokemon by 50%. So, free choice band on your... well, actually not even choice band, just free +1 on any grass-type moves you use. Also, can have some nice beneficial effects if you're working on this in doubles. The 1/16th healing, so free leftovers for grounded Pokemon, is also pretty cool. And then Bulldoze, Earthquake, damage cut in half, Grass Pelt synergy. Is Grass Pelt even in Pokemon Sword and Shield? Big Ripperino. That should have been like something Game Freak maybe went, you know, it's like, alright, just throw in the Go-Goat, make it work so that way we can have Rillaboom get some extra synergy. But there's probably like a sleeper grass Pokemon out there that's going to work really well with the Rillaboom. So, on to the moveset. This is going to be the non-hidden ability moveset, because we still don't know when or how the hidden abilities are going to work for these starter Pokemon, and Assault Vest seems like the way to go. We have a Pokemon that has naturally higher defensiveness with good hit point bulk. Slap an Assault Vest, make it like an Incineroar, and then just do damage and the hurty things. But Drum Beating spices things up quite a bit, because since we can lower the target speed by 1, what we want to do is soak up a hit, really easily, drum beating, outspeed them, and then get the 2-hit KO, take another hit, drum beating, outspeed them, get the 2-hit KO, and pretty much just kind of be like a 2-for-1 Pokemon by sitting in there and being tanky, then also just having really interesting amounts of coverage. Earthquake. Well, this is going to be good for Overgrow, but it's not going to be good for when you have grassy terrain, because then it reduces the damage of your Earthquake. But then we have high horsepower, so high horsepower isn't affected by grassy terrain. That's going to be the 200 IQ right there when we do it like this. So Earthquake, high horsepower, wanted to make that note for you guys when we start talking about the Grassy Surge, and then everything else is alright, like Assault Vest, Knockoff, name a more iconic duo, and then Drain Punch for if you have those opportunities where it's like, oh, I don't need to hit them with another move to KO them, they just have a little bit of health left, might as well just pull in a couple of free hit points from that Drain Punch. I'm looking at it like this. Max out the attack, Adamant Nature, you just sit and you be tanky like that, and then you put EVs into the speed until you get to your desirable break point on -1 with the drum beating at level 50, which is going to be the standard competitive level. Gengar, a 110 base speed Pokemon, will be outsped at -1 afterwards. So Gengar is kind of a bad example, and we're going to get into that with the damage calculations and some of the other things that go on, but depending on what speed you want to outspeed, that is how you're going to invest your effort values into the Rillaboom. I'm just saying 110, that's a good place to be. That's a decent chunk of Pokemon. Everything below that, you are going to be able to 2-tap. And then now you also have really interesting speed creeps against slower Pokemon. That if it's just an 85 base speed, you're okay, because they're not going to be investing into speed too often, and you are. And this also has some other weird interactions. So an uninvested 96 base speed Pokemon, you're going to be faster than. So this also includes like 90, Silvally on the 95. So like bulkier Pokemon that are trying to run, that just like naturally have a high speed that they don't care to do anything with. Because why would you invest into speed when just sweepers are going to outspeed you anyways? So you want to kind of tank in and stuff like that, and then just have natural speed creep. So this puts Rillaboom in a strange spot, and then you can just kind of do things. So those are the combos that we are looking for. However, we can get really fancy when it comes to that Grassy Surge, because you come in, and then we might as well just turn them into a sweeper. Choice Scarf gives us good speed. Grassy Surge, that's going to be 50% damage on top of a high attack Pokemon. Slap on the Adamant Nature. Just get as much damage in there as possible, and what this does is it means that we speed tie 135 base speed Pokemon, which in this game is actually pretty few and far between. So we're speed tying the Galarian Darmanitan, and then we're losing to Barraskewda, Legendaries, Dragapult, Excelgor, Ninjask. And then other like weird +1 matchups and stuff like that. So that's looking pretty good to just kind of run the Choice Scarf like this with the Grassy Surge. And then other moveset tech that you want to put into Rillaboom is going to be the way to go. As for doubles, you can doubles and do doubles. And what I mean by that is you just kind of do your own thing. You know, that powerful knockoff or drum beating is going to provide a lot of utility, and the opponent's going to have to deal with you at some point, or you're just going to put in work, and then depending on the state of your ability, that's also going to provide benefits to your team. Rillaboom also gets bulk up, but that's not going to work with Assault Vest, so you kind of have to consider if you want to do some kind of setup strategy and go for this like a full-on crazy tank kind of Rillaboom. If we're running into that, then that's kind of like Citrus Berry territory to where we're getting that extra health. We'd have to get rid of one of these moves, go in for that bulk up, and then that's where you're hoping to get a lot of health back, either from Grassy Surge when it comes out, because now you're getting 1/16 as you're setting up bulk up, then you get strong into that Drain Punch on top of good stats. Maybe the speed matters at that point, maybe it doesn't. That's when you want to start putting more of that investment into special defense. And then with something like that, we might want to go for a special defense nature, but the way that natures work means we're going to be getting less stats out of it. I don't know, just like the 190-70 with a 125 attack into bulk up makes it kind of hard to decide on what to do. Do you just like keep this Adamant Nature max EVs, use bulk up once, and then try to carry it from there? Or do you just go for the double bulk up behind maybe an Impish Nature, so we're getting the most out of that, and then max hit points, max special defense, and then we run it just kind of like that crazy bulk up. Nothing touches you physically eventually. You're healing off Citrus Berry, maybe healing off of your ability, and then Drain Punch is going to be good healing as you try to get to the state where you're just one-shotting everything on a drum beating. Like, it's just one of those scary things when someone starts bringing a bulk up, and then the other guy doesn't have a response, so it's like, wait, I have a lot of physical Pokemon, I can't get through his defenses too much, and now he's going to be getting a lot of damage. Like, if you can make it to a state of even 3 bulk up or something weird like that, because you're just sitting in there not taking damage, then the game just kind of becomes yours. And I think Rillaboom has that tankiness and naturally high attack to make use of it and just kind of pull it out. But at the same time, I thought this was going to be what happened to Incineroar. Like, if we're running a bulk-up Pokemon, these stats are better, because that lower attack doesn't really matter since we're going for some insane boosting, and then the bulk-up Incineroar didn't really take over. Might have been because of typing, but at the same time, you're Grass, so you still can be exploited pretty hard, especially by special attacks. Things get weird. And then damage calculation. We do damage, but we also take damage. So, Choice Specs, Timid Gengar, is just going to one-shot us with a Sludge Bomb through our Assault Vest, which also means that powerful moves like this are going to be 2 shots in the neutral, which means we really need that drum beating to slow down the opponent and then us have enough damage to follow up and KO them. But then our Earthquake, so our super effective in response, is also just going to be more damage in return to a sweeping Pokemon, and if Seed Bomb wasn't resisted by the Poison typing, then yeah, that means we have a 2-hit KO right there. Also, it's not Seed Bomb, that's just the stand-in for drum beating because it's the 80 base power stab grass move thing that's going on. So yeah, and then if we just kind of go over to another Pokemon, let's take Silvally for instance. So depending on the state of the Silvally, it's going to be kind of weird. We also need to dial this down to level 50 because damage calculations are slightly more accurate that way. Like, look at how weird this lines up. If this is like a non-hit point, non-defensive invested Silvally, I don't know. Maybe it's like Scarfed or something, or just trying to find a weird speed tier. Mostly you're going to find like bulk on the Silvally in some way, but an analog, once again, 95 hit point, 95 defense Pokemon, that's much tankier than the average Pokemon. So yeah, Drum Beating comes in, and then we follow that up with the Outspeed into Drain Punch. That's going to be like even a KO with the 2 lowest possible damage rolls. That's pretty nice. And then not a super effective hit against a not as tanky Pokemon. Healing up 15% in a combo like that could be the difference between a 2-hit KO and 3-hit KO, or maybe even like a 3-hit KO and a 4-hit KO. I don't even know. But then you also just wanted to use like super effective attacks in response to special sweepers and just kind of keep carrying through that way. Silvally got an interesting buff. Multi-attack has now 120 base power. So let's say it's a not super effective multi-attack. It's a 2-hit KO, but it's a 2-hit KO, and we're getting that response in. So this is still a relatively powerful move. Adamant Nature, 95 attack on a high base power, and then against like frail, super effective hits, I think it's going to be pretty easy to pick that one up, drop it down to level 50, and yeah, the Drain Punch almost does it. So I mean, if you have like Stealth Rocks up, or maybe if that Pokemon shows or if like you're already going to predict a Life Orb. So let's just say super effectivable Pokemon comes in. It's a sweeper, you know it has a Life Orb, you just kind of survive the hit, and then you use the Drain Punch to KO it, while getting a lot of the health back that you just lost. Now I know that Greninja isn't inside of Pokemon Sword and Shield, but since Generation 8 is still fresh, trying to get some comparisons to what we already know, but a 100 special attacking Ice-type Pokemon using Ice Beam isn't going to be a problem with our Assault Vest, and then the Drain Punch is actually going to be a pretty big return. If we take a Pokemon that we know is inside Pokemon Sword and Shield, like Vanillux, and we do bulky special attacking Vanillux, I don't know. I'm just trying to say, like, average-ish special attack using super effective, same type attack boosted move, we're going to be okay on that special side because of the Assault Vest. However, here's where you do need to have the big brain plays. That if I'm going, oh, I have a super effective hit, I'm just going to lead with Drain Punch, that's actually the worst move to make, because we outspeed, we use Drain Punch, and we're not getting any health back. So, I mean, if we're missing health, then yeah, that's a play to make. But if we're not missing any health, well, all you're doing is actually reducing the pool of potential health. That this drops Vanillux down to 40%, which means we're only going to heal 20% back on that next turn, after we take about 70%. Either way, after this, Rillaboom is going to be at like half health, which means if it's not hitting a super effective hit, it survives, it pulls off its combo, and it still comes out of these pretty well. And if you just get a chance to lead Drain Punch, and you can heal back because you already took damage from the last exchange, that's cool too. So Rillaboom, it doesn't like take over games, but I think it's a good way of getting momentum back on just like a bulky Pokemon that can kind of combo out and apply some kind of disruption across the fields. And then lastly, we have the damage calculation for the grassy terrain, and this doesn't seem right, but I think it's actually right, because we have Adamant Nature, 125 attack, it's a grass Pokemon, all of this other stuff is filler using a 120 base power Woodhammer, and at level 50, it one-shots the Silvally. So a 95-95 uninvested is just KO. So the average sweeper Pokemon in the neutral gets completely wrecked by this because of that insane grassy terrain boost. Now we are losing a lot of our health, so we don't have too much longevity with this. We get like 3 KOs and we're done. Actually 4, because the grassy terrain is giving us just that slight little bit of health back, and that actually adds up. So if we just outspeed every 135 base speed Pokemon, and they can't survive the hit because it's a neutral on a not super defensively tanky Pokemon, Rillaboom wins. Gotta wait for the terrain ability to come out, but that might get really scary. Now it can be walled because grass as an offensive typing is something you can deal with, but still, pretty crazy stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.